gentlemen. This is Jeff Rains coming to you again with Foundation of Civilization and Our Changing World. It has been another interesting week. Lots of different changes going on, lots of challenges that have occurred. And this is my weekly rundown of what's happening. It is August 2nd. And so what's been happening around the world? What tells us that Russia could be getting ready for a new offensive? What suggests Russia may not be getting ready for a new offensive? And possibly they are looking to engage in peace talks. What plans are getting most nations upset at Israel? Most of the time it's not hard for somebody to get upset at Israel. What kind of violence have we seen across the United States this week? Unfortunately, quite a bit. I note each week that the modern age is pretty much founded on the exchange of oil, and so that's where I start. West Texas Intermediate crude ended the week at $63.88. Brent North Sea crude ended the week at $66.59. And the OPEC baskets ended the week at $69.49. Gold this week ended the week at $3,398.17. Silver ended the week at $38.34. And gold is a determination, a suggestion about how people are feeling about the world. And silver, gold is the bank's economic play, and silver is the common person's economic play. And typically, silver is it's a lot closer to gold than it is right now. A measure of how well trade is being conducted is the Baltic Exchange Dry Good Index, and that ended the week at $2,051, which it seems to be kind of hovering around that mark recently over the past couple of weeks. It'd be nice to see it go a little bit higher, but, well, we're kind of in the midst of trade chaos. The determination of how countries are doing are usually based on their bonds. The U.S. 10-year bond yield was at 4.286%, which is down in just a little bit. The UK bond yields were at 4.604%, and the Japanese bond yields were at 1.493%. As far as military and naval deployments, ISR flights have been very consistent, flying around the southern border and the west. They're looking at something. We don't know what. We probably will never know exactly what they're looking at. As far as the Navy goes, 293 ships are of the 293 ships in the Navy. 101 are deployed, 71 are underway. The Abraham Lincoln is operating off the coast of California, and that actually brings us some interesting points that I will bring up a little bit later. But something is happening off the coast of California, actually south of California, kind of west of Mexico, the Baja Peninsula there. The Carl Vinson is operating near Hawaii. The last report we have, the Dwight D. Eisenhower was in port in Norfolk, Virginia. The George H.W. Bush was in port in Norfolk, Virginia also. The George Washington is operating in the Philippine Sea as part of the exercise Pacific Arsenal. The Gerald R. Ford arrived in Marseille, France on Monday. No word how long they're planning to stay, but that last word I had is that's where they were. They had been conducting operations with the Italian Navy in the Adriatic. The USS John Stennis is still being overhauled. Won't be out until October 26. The Nimitz is operating in the Arabian Sea. The Harry Truman is operating off the coast of Virginia. Ronald Reagan, last report we had was in Bremerton, Washington. The Theodore Roosevelt returned to San Diego this week. The USS America is operating in the Philippine Sea, also part of Exercise Pacific Arsenal with the George Washington. The Tripoli was in Sasebo, Japan. The Wasp, well, the last report we had was in Spain, but I'm not sure that that is accurate. The Iwo Jima is showing it is in Norfolk, Virginia. Now this week, there was a peace deal signed between Armenia and Azerbaijan that was negotiated by the current U.S. president. And it actually, this deal, having been able to negotiate this deal, the U.S. has a little more leverage between the two countries, which takes power away from Russia. The difficulty is that there is a spot of land that is not connected to the main part of Azerbaijan, but they are Azer people. They identify as Azeris. Armenia cuts off that section of the country, and so part of the deal is that there will be a 20-mile area that the Azeris are able to go and to conduct business with each other and to see each other. Over in Europe, the European markets this week were up a little bit. The DAX ended the week at 24,162 at 0.86. The FTSE ended the week at 9,093.63. The CAC ended the week at 7,751.42. The IBEX ended the week at 14,824.90. Now, what suggests to us that Russia may be preparing for operations again? Well, there is an upcoming exercise. Every 2 years they have this exercise called Zapad, and this is Zapad 2025, and Zapad means west. This one is taking place in September, and it's officially 13,000 troops will participate. However, today it's impossible to move troops without satellites and reconnaissance aircraft watching, so they move them under the cover of an exercise. This is the same tactic that they used whenever they invaded Ukraine 3 years ago. It's expected to be the largest Russian-Belarus drill since 2021, with preparations already underway. Now, this would give a new position for the Russians, a new, I don't necessarily want to say a new front, but it is kind of a new front from the Belarusian border. Various estimates suggest that Zapad 2025 could potentially involve from 100 to 150,000 troops. So maybe this is just an exercise. Let's hope that it is. It could be something more, though. This week, drone strikes continue between Ukraine and Russia. Russia, 3 people died this past week. Actually, one night this past week, Tuesday night this past week, 3 people died in Ukrainian drone strikes on Russia. The Russian air defenses also claim that they shot down 51 additional drones. Not sure how we confirm that or reject or deny it, but the strikes continue. Now, what's occurring that suggests we may be looking at a peace deal? Well, the Russian president and the U.S. president have agreed to meet next Friday, which would be the 15th of August. Today is the 2nd of August. And they are going to meet in Alaska, which is interesting. I'm not sure exactly where. I can't imagine that they're going to go all the way to Anchorage or Juneau, Alaska. So, but who knows? Anyway, rumors are that there is a deal that Russia will retain some of the areas in eastern Ukraine and that it already controls, and other areas they're not. That will be relinquished back to Ukraine. Now, recently, I reported that on the Ukrainian president's move to take control of 2 corruption watchdog groups. These are government-run watchdog groups. And he gave himself the power to appoint the leaders of these groups. That was met with a significant amount of dismay, and there were protests that went out. In fact, quite a few foreign countries said, no, we're not going to stand for that. And the EU suspended weapons shipments to Ukraine. Well, this week, Ukraine's parliament on Thursday approved overwhelmingly a bill presented to the president that restores the independence of the country's two key anti-corruption watchdog groups. This reverses his contentious move from last week. Over in Asia, as far as the markets go, the Nikkei ended the week at 41,768.72. The SSE index ended the week at 3,635.14. The Hang Seng ended the week at 24,844.99. The BSE Sensex ended the week at 80,008.80. Some interesting numbers there. The Nifty 50 ended the week at 24,350.90. Heavy rains were recorded in northwestern China, causing significant flooding. Flash floods killed at least 10 people and left 33 missing in Yuzhong County area of Gansu Province. Additionally, the rains caused at least one landslide in a mountainous area near the city of Lanzhou. China's exports surged 7.2% in July from a year earlier, while its imports grew at the fastest pace in a year as businesses rushed to take advantage of the truce in the U.S.-China trade war. However, analysts said that the improvement also reflected a low base for comparison in July 2024. Exports to the United States sank nearly 22% year on year, while imports from America fell almost 19%. But exports to Africa and Southeast Asia surged at double-digit rates as Chinese businesses diverted sales to other countries. So that's actually a bit of very good news for China. This week, India has indicated that it will continue to buy Russian oil, and the U.S. president was none too pleased with that. And so he decided to put an additional 25% import tax on India and Indian goods. Mind you, the rejection of suspending Russian oil shipments comes after the U.S. negotiated deals that would move more manufacturing to India. India decided that wasn't enough, and so they continued to buy Russian oil. I guess it's a better price than the deals that they're getting from the United States. So the combined imports on Indian goods the tariff will end up being 50%. Now, in a bit of cooperation, India and the Philippine naval crews sailed together. It was just a handful of ships, but they're looking to protect each other. And I want to say, obviously, from China, I'm not sure if they realize, or if most people realize that or not. But there was a 2-day joint sail which included 3 Indian ships. Began on Sunday, day before the Philippine Prime Minister Ferdinand Marcos left for a 5-day visit to New Delhi that will include talks with Indian Prime Minister Modi. In the Middle East, most of the trouble that is occurring in the Middle East centers around Israel. Whether it deserves to exist or not. And this week, Israel earned the ire of most people around the world as they laid out plans to seize what remains of Gaza City. This is an escalation, and there are a lot of rumors about what's going on. They may be looking to move the Palestinians to another place in the world. Not sure exactly what to expect out of that, but Like I said, most countries around the world denounced this effort. Germany suspended arms exports to Israel for use in Gaza. Now that's actually kind of funny. For it, maybe they made a specific note of arms that are designated for use in Gaza. Well, how do they know it's going to be used in Gaza or someplace else? I don't really expect much to change, and I don't expect that Israel's plans will change too much. Over in Africa, as this trade war continues, it is impacting quite a few different places. One of them is Lesotho, and the clothing manufacturer, Zeke's business, the business has really dried up. And the manufacturing facility, which is kind of loosely termed, the factory used to employ 1,300 people, and they exported sportswear to American stores such as JCPenney, Walmart, and Costco. But since the new U.S. administration has announced sweeping tariffs on nearly all U.S. trading partners in April, Lesotho found itself topping the list with a rate of 50%. That is a rate that's even higher than China, where the economy is 8,000 times larger. Officials and economic experts were baffled as to why these rates are so high. I'm sure that there's a lot more to this story, but they're feeling the pinch, so Lesotho may be struggling here in the near future. Down in South Africa, 30,000 people are looking at the same problem with the trade war. They're looking at losing 30,000 jobs down in the South African nation. In Sudan, a Sudanese airstrike in Darfur hit an Emirati aircraft and killed 40 mercenaries. So that was actually good planning on the Sudanese. The Islamic State-linked fighters have displaced over 46,000 people in northern Mozambique. In the Americas, the Dow Jones Industrial Average ended the week at 44,175.61. The S&P ended the week at 6,389.97. And the Nasdaq ended the week at 21,450.94. Amidst all of the trade changes in trade war, the Apple company has decided to increase its investment in the United States by $100 billion over, I want to say this is over the next 4 years. They already agreed to $500 billion investments, so company said it would spend $2.5 billion to fund a major expansion with Corning, which makes glass for iPhones in Kentucky. The company said the investment would incentivize overseas companies to buy more U.S.-made parts. The original commitment was $500 billion, so this will go up. This will take them up to $600 billion. The president of Mexico finds herself in a difficult situation. There is a scandal that is unfolding that involves top party officials in the Senate. The situation threatens to undermine both Mexico's public confidence in the party and the United States' confidence in the government. Now, this is something that we've kind of known for a while, is that Mexico's government really, really is struggling with corruption. The police are only paid so much, and the drug traffickers are able to pay them more. This scandal erupted the weekend of July 12th when the regional military commander in Tabasco made public that he had a warrant to arrest Tabasco's ex-secretary of security, whose last name is Ricania. Unfortunately for Lopez, it has since come out that the ex-secretary has happened to be known as Comandante H, which is the leader of Cartel Laboradora in Tabasco. And a number of high-profile members of the state police and prosecutor's office were also involved with the gang. The New York Times is reporting that the U.S. president has signed an executive order that allows U.S. troops to engage in direct action against cartels. This is after expanding the National Guard, sending them to the border, to the southern border, and expanding surveillance via reconnaissance aircraft of the cartels. This is after they designate any of the groups as a foreign terrorist organization. And once any of these organizations get to be large enough, they'll earn that title. The directive, according to the people familiar with the matter, provides legal cover for potential direct U.S. military operations at sea and on foreign soil, bypassing the traditional law enforcement framework. This means that they'll be willing to send special operation forces into foreign countries such as Mexico or El Salvador, Guatemala, Panama, possibly. And the person that stands out the most to me is Maduro down in Venezuela. Any other country where drugs are being created or manufactured and transported. This is going to get interesting. We'll see how serious they are and what kind of repercussions there are. If the units that go into these foreign countries to conduct operations get the country's permission, there shouldn't be any huge problem. But if they fail to, or if it is perceived that they failed to get permission to conduct an operation, then the State Department will step in, and people will be negotiating all kinds of things. Now, the other trouble is to know who in the government is working with the cartels, to find that out before the special operations guys go in and request permission to attack some site. Good luck to them, and we'll see how everything works out in the near future. This week, the U.S. Army awarded a contract to Palantir, and Palantir is they're an interesting company. Palantir has been brought to life as AI has expanded and our computer capabilities have grown. Palantir has grown right along with it. Mind you, the first customer for Palantir was the CIA, and that was the case for the first 2 years. They're the only client of Palantir. This allows the military to focus its efforts on where it needs to go. As Palantir is able to harness the power of AI, they're able to analyze patterns and data and say, here's the critical points. Now, the trouble is, when do they stop? How do they go about ensuring that we have legal protections? And how do we go about ensuring that we know that those legal protections are being respected or disrespected? Well, let's take some digging that I'm not able to do yet. Now, analyzing military flights and ship operations, it suggests that there is something happening off the southern California coast, next to the Mexican's Baja Peninsula. It is unclear exactly, but something is going on. Now, what kind of violences have we seen this past week in the United States? Well, quite a bit, unfortunately. There was a Times Square shooting which injured 3 people, and the suspected gunman is a 17-year-old, and they have been arrested and detained. There was a shooting at Fort Stewart, Georgia. 5 people were shot. I believe all are expected to survive. The shooter, he was subdued by his fellow servicemen. There's some dispute as to how and why he did what he did. He shot his fellow soldiers. There was a current administration staffer who was assaulted in D.C. This is one of the Doge coders. He was walking through D.C., saw a woman being assaulted as somebody who looked like somebody was trying to carjack her. He was able to push her in the car and get her away, but there was a group of about 8 people who seriously injured him. He's expected to recover completely. There was an active shooter on the Emory campus in Atlanta, and he ended up killing a responding police officer. In a horrible incident, there was a 14-year-old boy who was at the wrong place at the wrong time, and attackers filmed his attack as he was stabbed a number of times. 14 years old, just the wrong place, wrong time, and a gang of boys came along, threatening him, pointing a gun at him, and eventually stabbing and killing him. Luckily, the man that is suspected of killing 4 people in a Montana bar was located and has been put behind bars. More fires are raging. A lot of fires raging across Canada. It has become illegal to travel through the forest, and there are new fires raging in Southern California. Now, there was also been a mysterious crime spree targeting National Guard equipment stashes. A number of items have gone missing. A lot of them include things like night vision equipment, the laser target designators, thermal weapon sights, and various other types of equipment. This has been occurring enough that it's getting the attention of the leaders in Washington. Now, one of the final things that I wanted to note, at least for this week, and I know that there's plenty of things going on out there that I'm not able to track, but I've only got so much time to be able to get this together and get this out to you. But a recent assessment by the Director of National Intelligence was declassified, and it noted that back in January 2017, there was a report suggesting that Russia had tried to influence U.S. elections through social media posts and through hacking, and the suggestion was that it was trying to damage one party's campaign. Now, these declassified documents note that the analyst who initially looked at it could find no connection between Russia and the U.S. elections. And they were directed by the leaders to make it up, which they did. They use this material to justify an investigation into a political rival. Now, at the time, media outlets showed no interest in pursuing the truth, which was abundantly clear even early on, 2017, 18, by 2019 at least. The media, not only were they not asking the right questions or any serious questions, they were actively covering up the persecution and prosecution of a sitting president. Now, even if you don't like the president, the current president, or the last president, this kind of abuse of power cannot be tolerated. Maybe if we hold these people accountable, we can find out who killed John F. Kennedy and why he was murdered. I have my own suspicions, but, well, it was... well, I'll keep my suspicions to myself for now, and hopefully I won't get a visit by the FBI. But if we plan to have a representative government and not have bureaucrats that happen to work in the intelligence agency foil things for us, we have to get these questions answered, and we have to get the truth out there. I hope that you guys are paying attention to the truth, and I hope that you guys are paying attention to what's going on in the world, because significant events are happening. Significant things are unfolding in the world at this moment. Something that I will note at the moment, right now, there's a lot of talk about China invading Taiwan. I think it's actually a very small chance that China is going to invade Taiwan, at least as the world sits at the moment. I actually think it's much more likely that China is going to break apart before they are able to invade Taiwan. And the main reason that I believe that is because that's what they're talking about. That's what they keep blustering about. And they have some of the oldest texts on warfare. Well, one of the foundational principles of warfare for China, coming from Sun Tzu, is deception. Let people think you're doing something, or don't tell people what you're doing, what you're planning to do. So if they're making a big noise about it, it's very possible that that's not what their plan is. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, and I also want to make a note that there's a lot of discussion about how good China and Russia are working with each other. They're really not. There's a lot of animosity between the two countries. And in fact, if China's build up for its military, if they're going to do anything, it's much more likely they're going to attack Russia than them attacking Taiwan. Now, I hope that you guys have enjoyed this week, and I hope that you will like, share, and subscribe. I enjoy putting this out every week. It does take some effort and some time, and one of these days I hope that I get paid for it. I hope that pays off for me. I hope that you guys are paying attention and that you're getting your families ready. Hug them, spend some time with them, and keep a focus. Part of the reason I do this is so that you can look to find the truth about what's really going on, and you can be better informed and make better decisions, and you don't need to be overwhelmed by the news that is coming, that's unfolding before our eyes. Thanks again. I hope that you guys are doing well, and I look forward to talking to you all again in the very near future. Much love, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.